You have £10,000 to invest in property and you don't know what to do with it. Don't worry, it's not one of them cheesy YouTube property ads. This is Simon and I'm going to tell you how. So in this video, I'm going to be covering how to invest £10,000. And disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is just what I would do. This is what I have done and this is what you could do too. And by the way, no sales, nothing like that right here. I'm just doing this to help you, to add value and to share. So let me know how much money you've got. Let me know what you would do if you had £10,000 in the comments and I will comment back personally. So this week, what have I been up to? It's been a massive week in terms of my rent to rent business. We're really scaling up. We've rebranded. We're hiring a team because yeah, this stuff gets real. I'm not gonna lie, once you start getting 10, 20, 30, 40 properties, it can become a lot of work. So it's got to the point now where I've got people in a team to help me and systemize my time so I can do stuff like this and try and help other people. Brand new rent to rent deal, a 3-bed that we're converting into a 4-bed mini HMO. I'm sure I'm gonna include that in the channel. If you're doing rent to HMO, then you'll love that. We've got a massive BRR conversion going off right near the university where we're doing a loft conversion and all this amazing refurb stuff. So that is kind of blowing my mind a bit, costing me a little bit too much money if I'm honest, but that's part of the game. Speculate to accumulate. So let's get into today's content. £10,000, if you've got £10,000, it's not a huge amount of money. It's not enough for you to go out and buy a property right now, granted, but it is a good start. And there are property strategies that you can get into. You've just got to know your stuff, you know? So if you've not got 50 grand, by the way, if you missed that video, make sure you search it, check it out on the channel. I'll try and post it below or up there somewhere, how to invest 50 grand. If you've not got 50 grand, you can still be involved in property. This is the thing when I started. I didn't have much money and for years I just thought, oh, it's out of reach. I'm not going to be able to do it. Oh, it's not for me. Oh, that's just for rich people. But you can actually get involved in property with 10K. Now there's going to be 2 main ways of doing this. There's a few other ways, but there's 2 main ways that you can do it in isolation. And one of them is rent to rent, my baby. Love rent to rent, changed my life. And the second is deal sourcing or deal packaging. So rent to rent, I talk about all the time. Essentially, instead of you buying the property, putting a deposit down and owning the asset, you can just rent the property and cash flow the property. So you would go to a landlord and you would say, hey, Mr. Landlord, you're tired, you're sick of managing your own property. How about I guarantee your rent for 5 years and I take on all the management, the maintenance, I pay you a guaranteed rent every month. I monetize the property and everything between those 2 figures is my profit, but it's a win-win because you don't want to do the work, okay? You don't want the headaches, you don't want the stress, you don't want to hear about it, you just want the money, okay? And rent to rent, I've done countless deals now. I'm helping countless other people do deals and it's a really powerful strategy. The average rent to rent deal cost me around £5,000. The second option is deal sourcing or deal packaging, where you don't buy the property. What you do is you find the deals, you find the investment properties. I've just found one now. Me and Mike are fighting over who's going to have it. And what you do is you find an investor that wants to buy it. So you don't need the money. Okay, you just need to find the deal, find the investor, and then you basically partner them up and you take a fee from the investor, which turns your 10 grand into 15 and your 15 into 20. And before you know it, you could be well on your way to having enough to purchasing your first property or scaling up your business. Now, I will say this is a constant debate. What is the difference between property investing and a property business? Because they are 2 different things. And for me, both of these strategies really are property businesses. Rent to rent will give you a return and a cash flow, so it's a bit more investing. But deal sourcing definitely is a business, okay? It is a business, but the great thing about it is you'll be able to learn your trade and learn what a deal is, speak to agents, and pick up credibility as well. You're going to find that once you start fusing a few of these investors with agents and you're buying or being part of a lot of purchases, these agents are going to start calling you up and saying, you know, you're the man. You know, I actually went to a viewing the other day. They got me in the viewing before anybody else and introduced me to the seller as one of our, you know, high-flying local investors. I was like, for now, come a long way. Wasn't even doing this 3 years ago. So sourcing properties can be a great way of doing that. But you're not going to get the cash flow. So you've got 10 grand. Personally, I would favor rent to rent because you're going to get the monthly cash flow, because that's what I wanted at the time. I wanted to get out of the rat race and have the recurring income. But deal sourcing can be a great way to fast track your earnings and get you up the ladder so that you can buy. But here's an interesting thing. You can do both. You could spend 5-6 grand on your first rent to rent deal, and deal sourcing doesn't take much money. So maybe some of your rent to rents you don't want, you source on. Maybe, you know, you look at some purchasers and you source them on too. If you're finding this content useful, by the way, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, comment below, let me know how much money you've got and what you're trying to do. And if I can help, I will do. If you've got 10 grand, rent to rent, deal sourcing, great ways to go. Before I clear off, I've got one more thing to add. You don't have to be the one that puts the money in the deals. So if you've only got 10 grand, or maybe you've got 5 grand, get educated and learn how to find the deals, how to add value. We call it sweat equity. And then you can find an investor that puts the money in but hasn't got the time. They call it time poor, cash rich. None of your own money. So if you've not got much money, you could use some of that money to get educated. Or you could use some of that money to maybe get a rent to rent deal and then look at doing a JV where they put the money in, you put the time, the expertise in, you manage the property and you get a 50-50 split. Phone's ringing, I gotta go. But if you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below, and I'll see you on the next video.